Sali di 3 centimetri, ok, perfetto.
Ma quindi si vede o non si vede?
No, così no.
Fin dove sono inquadrato? Quindi se sto con le, perché mi viene da fare così con le mani non si vede. Ok, boh, perfetto. Ci sei, Ale? Vado?
3, 2, 1.
Allora, la rifacciamo uguale, identica, Eravamo qua più o meno 4 anni fa. C'era Arianna, stavamo facendo 2 chiacchiere, non mi ricordo bene di cosa, e poi a un certo punto lei se ne esce. Ripeti la frase che mi hai detto, se hai coraggio.
Beh, Andre, voi surfisti siete un po' come i calciatori del mare alla fine. Cioè, siete fighi, bellocci, ma non sapete nulla di quello che sta sotto la vostra tavola.
Ecco, appunto.
Sometimes, a small phrase that someone can consider meaningless or insignificant can be the spark that makes you change your mind. Andrea devoted his life to the sea, but quickly understood that he never went that deep. He was focused on waves, but he knew so little about the playground in which he was having fun every day. And that was the beginning of this story. This is Andrea, my neighbor. Incurable optimist, tireless surfer. Perhaps the most curious and deeply passionate person about the sea I have ever met. Andrea works as an osteopath. Sometimes his patients are quite young. And he also works as a surf coach because surfing gives him so much that he really wants to share it with others. He's in love with his family, with nature, and of course, with surfing. And this is me, Luca, an outdoor addict and marine biologist on a mission to inspire people to live, understand, and protect nature. I grew up in a fisherman town in Liguria, close to the ocean and the mountains. Here, I learned to love, live, and study the outdoors. I'm in love with my amazing territory and heritage, providing my 2 kids the opportunity to grow up with sandy feet and soily hands. That famous phrase touched Andrea's soul so deeply that he even wanted to make a movie about that. He started asking me literally every question about the sea. And trying to give him answers, we began to live and learn in, on, and from the sea, together. The more he was discovering, the more he wanted to know. The more he was experiencing, the more I could see he was falling in love with all the subtle connections between the ocean inhabitants. But the more he knew, the more he could see that his playground was in danger. And what could he do to change that? He had to talk, ironically, with Arianna.
I've always been in love with the sea since I was born in Calabria, in the south of Italy, and I decided to go to the UK in order to study it. Everything I was learning was that we need data in order to understand the ocean. Research is at the basis of trying to understand questions that will help us to understand what is going on and so actually how to protect it. But the problem was the scientists were always in their ivory tower trying to collect data and data, spending lots of monies on scientific research, and at the same time there were people outdoor that were living the ocean every day through the sports they loved, and they didn't know really how to collect this data, to try and be involved in the environments they play in. And so I found my perfect niche of research in citizen science. And citizen science is basically teaching common people, citizens of the world, how to collect data in order to try and understand the language of the environment we play in. And when this data reach scientists, scientists can direct policies in order to protect this environment, so that we can be the actual players of change in an environment that we really love and live every day. And for me, that was win-win, because people go out, they enjoy the ocean, and at the same time they have the tools in order to try and understand it and protect it.
This citizen science thing looks interesting, right? Let me introduce you to Fede Skal, graphic designer, photographer and diver. Fede jumps into the water every single day. Yes, even in winter. That's his morning routine, an inspiring way of starting the day. And you know what? He loves to take beautiful pictures of the strange things he sees underwater. That's the point.
Biodiversity is the key to solving the current climate crisis. But how can we protect biodiversity if we don't know where the species and what species are where? iNaturalist gives you a simple way of taking a picture with your phone or your GoPro while you're doing your outdoor activity, uploading it onto the application, and informing scientists of where the animals you're seeing are. So your wonder in encountering wildlife can also be useful to science and to protect the playground you're in.
If underwater is not your place, and you prefer to float on the surface, sailing as fast as the wind, then you need to meet Few.
I really don't think that things don't happen for a reason. And when I met Few and I fell in love with him, we immediately started to think, how can we combine our two jobs, our two careers? You sail, I need data for scientists. What if you sail and you collect data at the same time? And so we installed some prototypes on Gin Tonic, the Mini 6.5 boat. And these two prototypes were a way of trying to give sailors a tool that they can collect oceanographical data as they sail by the wind. The two sensors mainly were some very simple tools with a geolocalization in, and then they had a tail that was dipping in the wake of the boat. And as the boat was surfing the waves, basically, it was collecting sea surface temperature data and salinity. And those are basically the most important, but also the most simple data that we can collect while sailing. We really had a lot of fun in trying to understand how we can put on a very small sailing boat something that is more scientific. And few, for the first time, realized that he can give back to the ocean as it's sailing. You think that sailing is something that gives joy only to you, but having these sensors on board allows you to send this data to scientists, and maybe this evidence the scientists need is going to end up in a report, and that report is going to guide all political decisions on climate change in order to allow you also to sail for longer and change your daily actions in an informed and more effective way.
That was all so inspiring. But what Andrea loves the most is surfing, so we had to find a way.
Surf forecasts are made of data. The more data you have, the more accurate your surf forecast will be.
Giova, sì, è buono, tutto confermato, ci dia là. Vai, ciao.
So if you carry with you a meteor tracker, you can basically collect data as you ride to your local surf spot, and that will help you also to have more surf session in the future. So you know when the waves are coming, and you're also informing scientists on climate change and how it's going to affect your surf spot in the future. Data mostly in open ocean because that is the most unexplored area of the ocean. But actually we also really need data near the coastline, maybe in urbanized areas such as your local surf spot. And if you put a sensor, for example, around your ankle, and that helps you to collect sea surface temperature data as you're surfing, you're doing something that might protect your local surf spots from climate change in the future. But at the same time, you're really just turning it on and having fun.
Every story comes to an end, but not this one. Nowadays, every week, Skull is collecting a small sample of seawater from his playground and bringing it into a research laboratory in Bogliasco. The Acqua su Misura lab is analyzing different water quality parameters of this seawater sample and sending this data to EMODnet Physics, the main European database on ocean physical information. on which all main research and policy actions in Europe and beyond are based. This wants to be a small beginning of a bigger project that Skull, Andrea, Acqua su Misura Lab and OutBe want to develop together in the future. While sailing for the Mini Transat Regatta in 2023, few covered more than 4,000 miles in open ocean, testing innovative low-tech sensors and collecting essential ocean data on the way. Ari and few are now working on a small sailing boat that will soon become their home. Can you imagine how much data they will collect every day? Giovanni is involving the kids of his surf school in plastic monitoring and cleanup events. Maybe they will become the aware surfers of the future.
I think that citizen science is kind of like recycling. So in the past, people who were doing like recycling were considered like hippies. and everyone was saying, oh, like this will never become a habit for us. But citizen science will become a habit for people who live the ocean, because we cannot keep doing what we love without actually giving something back to protect it.